So today in our workshop we got StarCraft boat with Volvo Penta 4.3 GL engine, and the client haven't used it this year, but last year he said it was very hard to start it up. So we got it in a garage, and this boat was completely dead. I mean, electrics works, but the engine, there is no response at all. And so I started with electrics, replaced blown fuses, of course had to charge up a battery, and the next thing, big massive thing, which one turned out to be a complete hassle, is changing a starter, because the starter seemed dead, and I wanted to check it first if it's really dead or not, or probably needs just a cleaning. Access to it for this boat is very shitty. You have to take off one back panels off, and you have a little gap through which one you can squeeze half of your body in that hole, so you can barely reach that all rusted up starter, which one bolts are rusted madly and you can't pull them properly. Even connections on a starter was mission to get them off. As you can see in this video, I was struggling big time. As you can see, it was struggle big time to reach it. First of all, next thing is pull the bolts, because all the bolts was rusted, and it just was a mission to get it off. I decided to disconnect battery completely to put it on a charge, and basically after that I proceeded back to the mission, the big mission to take off the starter. As you can see, struggle kept going on. I tried different sockets, different spanners, and well, I got all the connections at least off, and then it was mission to reach it for the bottom screws to undo starter itself. just to mention you, as usual, I speed up my video 4 times, and as you can see, it takes ages and ages and ages to get the starter off. And I mean, to put it on is easier. It's easier would be if you would take off exhaust manifold, which one I end up doing later due to different problems, but we'll come back to that later. And so finally I had that busted off, and I wanted to pull it apart, take off the coil and see if I can clean it and get it working again. Yes, it looks rusty. Just don't forget, this is marine engine, and I mean every component is rusty if you don't maintain it like regularly. It's getting really rusty, but I mean, expect everything to be hard to take off because all the bolts are rusty, everything is rusty, and the starters is the first thing that gets rusty because most of them replacement parts are bought Chinese made, so don't expect good quality, but well, they works. After first cleaning, I hooked up the starter to the battery, and I mean, it seemed straight away that it shortened out because once you put a plus to the terminal and minus on a casing, it starts to spin immediately, which one means that something is shorted out, because you shouldn't do that. And so I took a video, I sent it to the client and tell him a bad news: the starter gonna have to be replaced. We're gonna have to get new starter. At this point, I wanted to save some money for the client. I wanted to get it running, probably clean it out, and just the client won't have to spend money on new starter at least this year. But it turned out that the starter, I mean, we can't save it, we can't repair it, and it's got to be bought new. starter got to be changed, so I'm gonna see you guys in part 2 of this video, probably part 3, because the problems was massive with this engine, because I mean the engine is dead, and we found out much more problems with the boat, which ones needed to be sorted out. So see you in next video.